The 2025 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Venezuelan opposition leader María Corina Machado for her courageous and steadfast dedication to promoting democracy and human rights against the authoritarian regime of Nicolás Maduro. The victory was immediately overshadowed by a striking political irony. Machado dedicated the award, in part, to former U.S. President Donald Trump, who had repeatedly and publicly sought the Nobel Peace Prize, but was passed over by the committee. Machado's statement, which thanked Trump for his decisive support of our cause, instantly transformed a humanitarian recognition into a geopolitical lightning rod. The move served as both a profound expression of gratitude from a frontline activist and a pointed critique of the Nobel Committee's decision-making. The prize, meant to be a beacon of global unity and peaceful aspiration, was immediately pulled into the polarized orbit of U.S. domestic and foreign policy debates, highlighting the complex relationship between global recognition and political maneuvering. Reasons for the dedication and the political fallout. Machado's rationale for the dedication is twofold. Genuine appreciation and strategic necessity. 1. Acknowledging decisive support. During his term, the Trump administration adopted a maximum pressure campaign against the Maduro regime, imposing severe sanctions and formally recognizing opposition leadership. For figures like Machado, this unwavering and highly public support provided a crucial, even existential, lifeline. The dedication serves as a concrete thank you, validating the effectiveness of that high-pressure, confrontational foreign policy approach, which is often debated in international circles. 2. Strategic political necessity. For the Venezuelan democratic movement, continued, strong backing from the U.S. is essential. By personally thanking a powerful and popular political figure like Donald Trump, who retains considerable influence, Machado ensures sustained attention and potential resources for her cause, regardless of who occupies the White House. It is a pragmatic move to secure a lasting political alliance for a struggle far from concluded. The immediate consequence was a forceful political reaction from the White House, whose communication director sharply criticized the Nobel Committee for what they characterized as prioritizing politics over peace by denying Trump the award. Machado's dedication provided immediate rhetorical ammunition for Trump's supporters, allowing them to claim that even the official winner implicitly validated his record, thereby reinforcing his long-standing argument that the Nobel process is inherently biased against him. Consequences and future implications. The political drama surrounding the dedication generates several significant consequences across multiple arenas. For the Venezuelan opposition, while the dedication brings global attention to Machado and her movement, it also risks playing into the Maduro regime's hands. The regime routinely attempts to discredit opposition figures by labeling them as imperialist puppets or agents of the U.S. government. Machado's direct praise for a polarizing U.S. politician can be weaponized domestically to undermine her legitimacy among certain segments of the Venezuelan population. For the Nobel Peace Prize, the most profound consequence is the further erosion of the prize's perceived neutrality. When the winner of a humanitarian award immediately injects it into the domestic political context of a major global power, it makes the prize itself appear less a universal symbol of peace and more a tool in geopolitical strategy. The committee will likely face pressure in subsequent years to choose laureates whose work is less connected to specific, highly contentious political figures. For U.S. political discourse, the dedication becomes a durable talking point, serving as validation for Trump's foreign policy successes and fueling the narrative that his achievements are significant enough to warrant the global honor he seeks. This incident will be repeatedly cited as proof that the so-called elite establishment tried to deny him credit where it was due. Prediction and proposed solutions. Prediction. The political exploitation of this dedication is not over. It is highly likely to feature prominently in future U.S. campaign cycles as evidence of foreign leaders recognizing Trump's effectiveness. Furthermore, the Maduro regime will almost certainly intensify its rhetoric and persecution against Machado, viewing her international recognition and the U.S. connection as a direct threat. The Nobel Committee, in response, may shift focus toward grassroots organizations or figures whose work is entirely divorced from U.S. or European political maneuvering to reclaim its sense of global objectivity. Proposed solutions. To mitigate the damage and maximize the positive impact of Machado's win, 3 solutions are crucial. Broader diplomatic unity. Machado's movement must actively seek and highlight support from a wide bipartisan coalition within the U.S. and diverse international bodies, like the EU, Latin American neighbors, to counteract the U.S. puppet narrative and demonstrate genuine global solidarity. Bipartisan U.S. consensus. U.S. leaders, across party lines, should publicly agree on a consistent, humane, and unified policy toward Venezuela. Depoliticizing the Venezuelan crisis will ensure that support for democracy is not contingent upon specific U.S. administrations or individual leaders. Nobel Committee clarity. The committee should issue stronger, proactive statements explaining the criteria for selection, emphasizing the long-term, foundational work of the laureate, separate from the political reactions to the announcement. This would help insulate the institution from being framed purely as a political weapon. Ultimately, María Corina Machado's Nobel Peace Prize dedication, while intended as a strategic thank you, transformed a moment of humanitarian triumph into a reflection of the deep political fractures dominating the modern global stage.